You're in a crowd, packed in, waiting for the show. It's tighter than you'd like, but everyone's calm, so you stay. Then, the people behind you press forward. The people in front have nowhere to go, and your feet lift off the ground without taking a step. Here's what you think a deadly crowd looks like. A stampede, people running, trampling each other. It's almost never that. Nobody here is running. They're just standing, and in the next 2 minutes, some of them are going to suffocate where they stand, upright, eyes open, without ever falling down. It's called a crowd crush. Once the density passes about 6 adults in a single square meter, no strength and no panic can save you. Only what you did before it locked. Here's how you get out first. Every crowd disaster gets the same headline: stampede. The word is almost always wrong. A stampede is people running away from something. What kills is the opposite. People who can't move at all, locked upright by the bodies around them, who simply cannot breathe. So throw out the picture of a panicked, running mob. There's just a slow, ordinary crowd, and one number quietly climbing inside it. How many people share the ground you're standing on? Density is the whole story. Up to about 4 people per square meter, you can still move and choose your direction. At 5, you're locked. You only go where the crowd goes. Past 6 or 7 bodies in that square meter, the crowd becomes a fluid, where a single shove 50 feet away travels through it as a wave, with enough force to bend steel railings. And here is what kills you. You breathe by expanding your chest, and when the pressure on your ribcage won't let it expand, you suffocate, wide awake, standing up. It's called compressive asphyxia, and you can stay on your feet even after you black out. This is not panic, and it is not your fault. Hillsborough, 97 dead, no stampede. Itaewon, 159 dead in a narrow alley where no one was running. Every time, the danger is the same: density. This is the good part. There's room to move your shoulders, and it's the only moment all night you have full control, precisely when nobody is thinking about leaving. So while it costs nothing, you do one quiet thing the people who die never do. You look around. Where are the real exits, not just the way you came in? Which way is the open space? Remember this feeling, because the second you lose it is the only warning you'll get. Here it comes, the first real sign, and the easiest one to wave off. You go to step sideways just to get comfortable, and you can't. A minute ago, you moved freely. Now, you only drift the way the crowd drifts. Almost everyone feels this, shrugs and stays. That shrug is the mistake, and this is the last warning you can act on. While you can still make any progress, even sideways, you work toward the edge. Leave now, while leaving still feels like overreacting. 5 people per square meter, the point of no return, and almost everyone sails right past it. Now you're in contact on every side, front and back and both shoulders, and you move only when the whole mass moves. You can't get out anymore. That window closed a minute ago, but you can still protect the one thing that matters. So you bring your arms up in front of your chest, elbows out, hands near your face, the stance of a boxer covering up. It looks strange, but those few inches your arms hold are the few inches your rib cage needs to keep expanding when the pressure comes. 6 per square meter, and now the crowd is a fluid. A push, a stumble, a barrier giving way 30 meters off, and a wave you can't brace for rolls through, lifts you, and sets you down a full meter from where you stood. You cannot fight this. People who plant their feet and shove back get folded over and pulled under, every time. So you don't fight it, you ride it. You stay on your feet at any cost. You let the wave take you. And in the brief lull after it passes, you steal one diagonal step toward the edge, then another after the next wave. You don't beat the surge, you borrow from it. 7. You go to take a breath, and your chest won't open. No water, no smoke, no flame. Just bodies. and the fact that you can't inflate your own lungs. And you're awake for all of it. So you fight the two instincts that finish you fastest. You do not scream, because a scream empties what little air you've got, and you can't refill it. And you do not shove back, because that spends the strength and oxygen you're rationing by the second. Instead, arms up, small steady breaths whenever the press eases, and keep stealing that step toward the edge. And if you lose your feet, you're in the most dangerous place in the crush, because one person going down pulls others on top of them, and a crush becomes a pile. So if you fall, you get up that same instant. Grab a belt, an arm, anything, and haul yourself upright before the gap closes. The people around you should be pulling you up too. And if you can't rise, you don't lie flat, because that lets the weight crush your lungs. You get onto your side, pull your knees to your chest, and put your hands behind your head with your elbows in front of your face. That curl makes a pocket of air at your mouth and shields your skull, and you hold it until the crowd shifts. Here are the instincts that feel like fighting for your life and quietly end it. Pushing back hard only adds your force to the wave, which comes back harder. Screaming empties the lungs you can't refill. And the deadliest, clawing towards something solid, a stage barrier, a wall, a locked gate, the front where you think the exit is. That is exactly where people are crushed to death, pinned against something that can't move, while tons of crowd press in behind them. So do the opposite of every panicked instinct. Never toward a fixed object, always toward open space and the edges where the pressure can release. Look at everyone who died. None were trampled. None were running. None did anything wrong. The teenager came early for the best spot, against a barrier that never moved. The man who shoved back added his own strength to the wave that took his breath away. The woman who screamed for help spent the last full breath she would ever get. It was just physics. Too many bodies in too little space, and a chest that couldn't open to take a breath. And that's the hardest truth in this whole series. Once the crush locks, there is no hero move that saves you. The people who lived didn't fight harder. They felt the moment they could no longer choose their own direction, treated it as the emergency it was, and got out while everyone was still smiling. You don't survive a crowd crush. You leave before there is one. Crowd crushes don't happen at riots. They happen at concerts, festivals, religious gatherings, holiday streets, happy places where the only thing that went wrong was too many people in too few square meters. Hillsborough, Itaewon, the same physics every single time. So here's the only thing that keeps you alive, and it costs nothing. The next time you go to move in a crowd and you simply can't, do not tell yourself you're overreacting. That feeling is the alarm, and almost everyone who died ignored it for a few minutes. Have you ever been in a crowd that felt too tight? And did you leave or did you stay? Tell me in the comments. And the disaster that doesn't even have to touch you to kill you, where the ground itself carries the current, and the ones who live are the ones somebody restarts? That one's next.